Hello, and welcome to this episode of Level Up Podcast. Today, we are going to be speaking about something so fundamental to our life that I'm so happy that you tuned in for this episode. We are going to be talking about how to level up not only your confidence, but also your ability to not give a single. So the reason for this episode is pretty simple, because why is it that so many people, maybe you, are not truly living the life that you or we actually want? Because it's not because we can't. It's actually almost never because we can't, but it's most likely because we care too much about what other people might think if we decided to live the life we truly want, because we all somehow know what life we truly want to live. And that's why I wanted to put today's topics on the agenda: your life paradigm and your confidence. Those are two essential factors when it comes to you living the life you truly want to live. And in this episode, I'm going to break it down to you why it's so important and how you gain much more confidence in living the life you want, and how, most importantly, how you break free from the paradigm that you live by. Because we all live by a paradigm. The only thing is that most of us, maybe even you, we live by a paradigm that we haven't designed ourselves. And we're going to get much more into that. So, welcome to this very important episode. And throughout this episode, I want you to take notice and really ask yourself the questions that I'm going to be asking in this podcast. And then maybe after the episode, sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions, and also have the courage to answer them and work with them. Because once you've watched or listened to this episode, I want you to not give a single flying about anyone else, but what you want in life and how you want to live your life. All right, let's go. So first of all, I want to make it clear, most people, they live by a paradigm. So you have to consider the paradigm is the frame set of your entire life. And most people, they live by a paradigm which is not designed by themselves. So this is very important for you to know. Most people don't even know. Now you know, and now you can do something about that. So what is a paradigm? A paradigm is like a template, you can say. It's like a template that you live by, and it's set with rules, restrictions, a way of living, a way of speaking, a way of doing, and also, most importantly, a way of not doing. So it's a paradigm which set the rules and the terms and conditions for how you operate, how you work as a person. And this goes for everything in your life, your personal life and your professional life. And it's a paradigm which also sets the standard to what you allow yourself and how big you dare to think in life. And the things that you decide to go after could be job, opportunities, education, money, relationships, everything. And like I said, most people, unfortunately, then live by a paradigm designed by others. And now you might think, but if I'm not designing my own life, who is? And that's a really good question. And it's important for you to know. So the people, mainly people who are designing the paradigm, which in other words is your entire life, are your surroundings, the society, the place you were born, the city you're living in, your parents, your friends, and your co-workers, and actually all the people that you allow to be a part of your life. So as you can see, that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of external factors, which ultimately is determined how you are not only living your life now, but also how you are going to live your life until the day you're no longer here. So think about that. But before you get maybe too sad about this fact, then you should really be happy that now you know, because so many things, so many important things in life, the moment we just know that it exists and we are mindful about it, then we can also work with this fact and we can be very intentional from this day forward how you decide to live the rest of your life. So that is what we're going to do today. And other factors which you cannot change now that are determine how your paradigm is put together is your childhood, your upbringing, and all these external factors which you maybe not, you didn't have any control over it. But here's the thing, and I want to make this so clear because this fact is what made me personally go against all statistics in life and end up where I am today. Because let me tell you one thing, I was not supposed to be where I am today according to statistics. I'll get into that in another episode why, but you just have to know that. So what's important for you to understand is that no matter the upbringing you had, no matter the parents you have, no matter your surroundings, where you were born, etc., yes, that is not your fault. You cannot change that fact. You cannot do anything about it. But what you can do something about is for you to take full accountability and responsibility of who you are today and where you are today, and decide where you want to go from here. And decide where you want your life to take you from this moment. So in other words, you must take control of your own life. First question I want you to ask yourself is this: how many times have you stopped yourself solely due to the fact of what others might think? Think about that. I'm guessing it's more than once. And hey, I'm not judging you. I've been there myself. But there is no way I'm ever allowing that to happen again. And also, I don't want you to do that. Because let me tell you one thing. The biggest factor which holds us back, anyone, you, me, your neighbor, anyone, is fear. It's the fear of failure, and especially it's the fear of what others might think. And this fear is being reinforced by the society that we're living in. Let me tell you, I moved from Denmark, where this mentality is really thriving and people are so afraid to stand out. Nobody likes to do something that is risky. Everyone is fearful of what others might think, okay? But then I moved to Dubai. Here, it's a different mindset. Obviously, it's still there because it follows us as people, and 90% of the people who are here are expats, so they come from their home countries where these mindsets are really thriving as well. But you see a switch here. So I'm just saying that your surroundings and your environment is really a huge factor. And here is the kicker. The people that you're concerned of what they might think of you if you, let's say, try something and you fail. You never fail, by the way, you learn. You learn how not to do it again. Just remember that. Those people themselves, first of all, they're not even thinking about you. People, they don't think so much about us that we actually think they do. But those people, they themselves are holding themselves back from doing what they want because they're having the exact same thoughts. And what's even more, they are not even living the life they dream about. So it is absolutely ridiculous that we have this fear. And I've been kicking myself so many times as well, because let me tell you, because you try something once and you go against a potential fear, it doesn't mean that you will never have this fear again. No, I get it. I get it sometimes as well. Actually, I get it a lot because I do a lot of things that should make me fear something. But then I acknowledge the fear, and then I have a conversation with it. And then we come to terms that what I'm actually fearful of are what others might think. And then we kind of agree, the fear and I, that I don't care about that. So just for you to understand that it's not like it will go away, but you just have to know when to and how to identify it, and also work with it when it appears. Because here's the sad truth. Well, it's just the truth. If you care too much about what others might think, then you will be a slave for the rest of your life to their own limiting beliefs, because you have a thought that they will not like it because they are playing small, which then forces you to play small. So really, you need to be mindful about these things, because otherwise you will become a slave for the rest of your life by the limiting beliefs of the people around you or the society you live in. And promise me one thing, no matter where you are in life, and actually I've mentioned this in a few of my podcast episodes because this concept is so important. Promise me this, and most importantly, promise yourself this. If you ever find yourself in the place called the no man's land, the land where you are not really happy or fulfilled, but you are yet not so miserable that you're going to change your whole circumstance or your whole situation, that is no man's land, and you can never, ever go there. In The Lion King, when the dad, he tells Simba that he can never go to this land, this is me telling you, you can never go to this land. All right, let's loosen up, shall we? Because now we've established that if you're not determining the paradigm of your life, someone else will. So now you might be thinking, well, then if it's so important, I guess, are you getting it by now? Then how will you design this paradigm that actually controls your entire life? Yeah, that's really important. So we are going to get down to that right now. First, I want to say, just the fact that you are watching this episode is a huge first step, because that makes you aware and that makes you able to change it. So bravo. But step one is awareness. So I want you to, after this episode, or now, you can pause this episode, whether you're watching it or listening to it, you can pause it now, and I want you to write down all your limiting beliefs. Write them down and be really, really honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what is it that I really want in life? And then why can't I do it? Write down all the reason why you think you can't do that. Go ahead. And then step number 2, this is really important. The vision. What is your ideal life? Relations, jobs, money. Money is important too. Don't be limiting yourself with money. Everything you can think of in your life, the house you want, the car you want, the relationships you want, the job you want, or the business that you want to create, where you want to live, etc., etc. Write it down to the detail, because it is so important for you to have some vision of where you want to go in life. You have to look at it like this. Let's say you have a dream destination in life. We all do. It's called dreams and goals. But remember, without a plan and without the goals, those dreams will just stay dreams. So consider this vision and the goals you're going to be setting in order to reach it. Those are the roadmap to go there. Okay, third step, very important as well. Well, these are all important, so I'm gonna skip that part. Third step is for you to write down actionable steps for you to reach this dream life of yours that you have just previously described. What does it require you to do? So you have the vision. Those are your goals, all right? Then you have to break those down into actionable steps. Me personally, I do yearly goals. So it's easy for me I always have goals, but then when I've done my yearly goals, I break them down to monthly, weekly, and even daily goals. So you have to do that. Me, I use I'm very visual. So I like to use a program called Trello, Trello. It's free. And you can plot down all your goals in there, yearly, monthly, weekly, even daily, and then track them. And step number 4, I'm not going to say this is important because you already know that. Accountability. You need to keep yourself accountable to the goals and this vision and essentially this life that you deserve to have. So, and you can keep yourself accountable by tracking yourself, especially when you have it all written down. If you want to put a little cherry on top in this process, which I always do, you can get an accountability partner. Personally, that has worked for me very, very well. I've had one the last 4 years, and that's really a game changer. All right, and now when you've done all that, written that down, look, this is the most important thing, because we can all sit and want more for ourselves. We should. But where most people, they fail, it's not when they do it. It's because they simply don't do it. They just think of all the dreams they want, all the goals they want to achieve, but they don't really commit to it. And also, I want you to remember one thing. If you're sitting and thinking, well, I don't feel like I have enough confidence to do all the things that I want. Listen, confidence is not going to be dropping down from a clear sky. It's going to be dropping down from you doing something, you taking risk, you proving to yourself, and you're giving yourself proof that you have the guts to try something. Even if you fail, you have shown yourself that you had the courage to try something. And guess what? You didn't die. But what you will do, you will be miserable. And it will be as if they say that you can either live or you can exist. Existing is basically just being alive while you're dead. That's existing. But you need to live. And by living, I mean you owe it to yourself that to pursue everything you want in life. And how I just described it for you, that's how you do it. It's not you watching this episode for 30 minutes and then you're set for life. No, it requires work. It requires extraordinary, because let me tell you, 99% of people, they won't do this. So it really doesn't take a lot. It doesn't require a lot to stand out in life, because very few people want to do this. And I know it's crazy. It's insane. Why doesn't everyone want to do this? but 99% don't want to do the work. So that's what I'm asking you to do, the work. Not for me, but for you. And there's one thing you should always know about me. I will never, ever come on my own podcast or anywhere else to preach something or to talk about a topic or a struggle or a challenge or a learning that I haven't gone through myself and mastered. So what I'm saying here is something I've experienced myself. I've seen how fast I could create my own life and design my own life. I've seen how I could manifest all the things that I have today, and I'm not even done. Obviously, I'm not done. But here's the thing, when you start this journey, personally, I've had to break my own paradigm more than once. For me, having an upbringing that didn't exactly made me think that I could have something extraordinary in life, I can share a few things. So personally, I've been living in an orphanage. I've been in foster care. There's nothing wrong with that. But looking back, I was so ashamed of this upbringing, and I played it small because who was I to think that with such a childhood, with such an upbringing, what could I make in life? What could I do? But if there's one thing I have learned, that whatever your circumstances are, you might think it's your biggest disadvantage in life and it's something you're shameful about. But no, let me tell you, it can and it will become your biggest strength. Personally, I know what I'm capable of, and I know that whatever I put my mind to, I will achieve. Not just because I'm wishing it. No, 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 no. I am envisioning it. I am making the plan. I am writing down the goals. I am tracking myself. I am taking full responsibility and accountability for my life and where I want to go in life. And I keep myself accountable. And I don't play a victim in life. I take full control. Yes, many things and many circumstances were out of my control, was my fault, was not my fault, any of it. But it's my life and it's my responsibility to make sure that I reach where I'm supposed to in life. And so can you. So that was a little bit of my own story. So today I'm sitting here. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been that for the last 10 years. I'm a lawyer, business lawyer more specifically. I created my dream life. I created my own paradigm, and it didn't happen by chance. Far from. It happened because I took control and I designed it. And it really did not take a lot of time to do it. But what it did take was a commitment, consistency, and then resilience for whatever was holding me back. Circumstances in life, limiting beliefs. And I know that if I can do all this, anyone can, you included. So before I say goodbye for now, I want you to remember this. These are my very important but final words to you in this episode. You owe it to yourself to stop living a life designed by others than yourself, and you deserve to take full control over the frame set and your paradigm from this day. And if you do the things I told you today, then you are very much on your way to do that. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you soon in the next episode. If you haven't already, please remember to press the subscribe button and, share it with a friend you think that could benefit from this episode. All right, I'll see you. Bye-bye.